Hey, beautiful people, if these raw, twisted family stories hit you right in the chest, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so we can keep the darkness coming. Let's go. The leeching is over, my wife Sophia shouted, champagne spraying across the marble floor of our apartment in Lisbon's Príncipe Real. Her colleagues whooped like teenagers. She stood on the sofa in her new Louboutin, cheeks flushed from the second bottle of Espumante, waving the promotion letter like a victory flag. From now on, we live like we deserve. No more scraping, no more begging, no more carrying dead weight. Everyone laughed, everyone except me. I was in the kitchen doorway, holding a tray of pastéis de nata I'd spent the afternoon making. The custard was still warm. Nobody touched them. Sophia's eyes found mine across the room. Rui, baby, it's time. New life, new rules. You quit that pathetic little bookshop job tomorrow. We're hiring proper help. You've leeched off my career long enough. The room went quieter than a church on Monday. Her boss, Miguel, gave an awkward chuckle. Her best friend, Inez, looked away. I felt the heat crawl up my neck, the same heat I used to feel when my father called me the mistake in front of the whole family. At Christmas in our crumbling villa in Sintra, I smiled, small and polite, the way Portuguese men are taught. Parabéns, amor, I said, and put the tray down untouched. That night, after the guests left and the Alfama trams clanged below our windows, Sophia fell asleep victorious, one arm flung over the promotion letter on the pillow. I sat on the balcony, watching the Tagus glitter black and gold under the April moon. The air smelled of jacaranda and salt. I lit a cigarette I hadn't touched in 8 years and let the rage settle, slow and patient, the way my grandmother used to let octopus tenderize in seawater and onions. Sophia came from nothing, she liked to remind everyone. A council flat in Amadora, a mother who cleaned offices, a father who drank himself into the ground. She clawed her way into a scholarship at Nova, then into the glass tower of the biggest advertising agency in Lisbon. I met her the year I inherited my family's bankrupt publishing house, and the villa that was eating itself with rot and death watch beetle. She saw potential, I saw light. We married fast, she paid the debts. I restored the villa stone by stone, cooked, kept the garden, translated forgotten Portuguese poets no one read anymore, and managed the tiny bookshop in Chiado that barely broke even. She called it charming. She called me her kept artist. Guests laughed. I laughed with them. The laughter tasted like rust. But Leech, in front of 20 people who once came to our house for my feijoada and my stories, that word lodged in my throat like a fishbone. The next morning she left for Porto on a business trip, kissing my cheek with lips that still tasted of victory. Start packing up the bookshop, Rui. We're leasing the space. Time to grow up. I watched her cab disappear down the hill toward Rocio, red tail lights swallowed by the morning mist that rolls in from the river every spring. Then I began. First, I went to the bookshop. Old Senor Matias, who had worked for my grandfather, was arranging Camões' first editions. I told him everything. He didn't flinch. Your father was a proud man, he said. You're prouder. Pride is a slow fire. He handed me the keys to the safe where the really valuable books slept. Next, the villa in Sintra. The house had been in the Vasconcelos family since 1789. Sophia hated it, called it damp and bourgeois, but the land alone was worth millions, now that Lisbon's rich were building glass mansions among the pines. I walked the overgrown gardens where I learned to read under the cedar my great-grandmother planted. I touched the cracked azulejos, the fountain choked with ivy. My mother died in the east bedroom when I was 12. My father drank himself dead in the library when I was 23. Sophia never understood why I wouldn't sell. I understood now. Over the following months, while Sophia flew business class to London, Madrid, Dubai, I worked quietly. I hired a discreet lawyer from Coimbra, a woman who owed my family a favor, older than the Republic. I opened accounts in the Azores under a trust named after my mother, Lucia. I moved the rare books, the uncatalogued manuscripts, the first editions signed by Pessoa himself, all into climate-controlled storage in Porto. I forged nothing. Everything was mine by blood. I simply removed what Sophia had always dismissed as dusty junk. I cooked less. I spoke less. When she came home, triumphant and exhausted, I listened to her stories of corner offices and celebrity clients, while I folded her silk blouses and poured her Alentejo red. She thought I was sulking. She liked it. It made her feel powerful. Summer arrived with the smell of grilled sardines and Festa de Santo Antonio. The city danced in the streets. Sophia wanted to sell the villa before the autumn rains. Developers are circling, Rui. We're talking 8 figures. We could buy a penthouse in Lapa and a place in Comporta. Real life. I nodded. Let's have one last family lunch there, for closure. She rolled her eyes but agreed. Blood is blood, even when it's inconvenient. I invited everyone. My Aunt Clara from Evora, who still mourned her sister, my mother, and hated Sophia on sight. My cousin Diogo, a journalist with a nose for scandal, even old Matthias, and Sophia's mother, Dona Graça, who had always looked at me like I was the lottery ticket her daughter hit. The day was perfect, 30 degrees, the Sintra hills shimmering green and gold. I cooked the old way, cataplana steaming with clams and chorizo, arroz de marisco rich with coriander, leitão slow roasted until the skin crackled like fireworks. The long table under the cedar groaned. Wine flowed, Douro reds older than Sophia herself, bottles I'd kept for this exact day. Halfway through dessert, pasté de bacalhau and sericaya, dusted with cinnamon, I stood. I have an announcement, I said quietly. Conversation died. Even the cicadas seemed to pause. I placed a folder beside Sophia's plate. Inside, the new deed to the villa. The bookshop lease transferred back to the family trust, bank statements showing the millions already moved beyond Portuguese jurisdiction, and the marriage contract she had insisted on, the one that protected her assets but left mine untouched because, in her words, you don't have any, darling. Her face went the color of old parchment. You declared the leeching over, I said, voice calm. Almost tender. So I stopped leeching. Everything you thought was yours, because I was too gentle to fight for it, I took back. The villa stays in the Vasconcelos family. The books are safe, the money is safe, and I am leaving. Dona Graça gasped. Aunt Clara actually smiled for the first time in 20 years. Sophia laughed, sharp and brittle. You think you can survive without me. You have nothing. I looked at her for a long moment. The woman I had loved so hard, I let her diminish me. I have everything my ancestors left me, I said. And for the first time, I have myself. I walked away from the table. Diogo followed with his camera, already recording. The scandal would be on every news site by nightfall. Golden boy of advertising dumped by house husband he called parasite. Loses everything in prenup, she wrote. Behind me, Sophia screamed my name, then her mother's, then just wordless rage as the family I had invited closed ranks, physically and emotionally, around the table that had always been mine. I moved into the villa permanently. The bookshop thrived once tourists discovered the hidden manuscripts. I hired Matthias's granddaughter to run it. I planted new roses where the old ones had died from neglect. In the evenings, I sit on the terrace, watching the mist rise from the Moorish castle ruins, drinking a glass of 1977 Colheita port, and I feel my mother and grandmother sitting beside me, quiet and proud. Sophia's agency dropped her within weeks. No brand wants a creative director whose personal life is a meme. Last I heard, she moved back to Amadora to live with Dona Graça, who now tells everyone her son-in-law was the best thing that ever happened to her daughter. Too late. The leeching is over, but the living, the real, slow, deliberate living has only just begun.